All right, I think I'm live. My camera is on its last days. My phone, I should say. My camera's still working on it, but I can barely see what I'm filming. All right, I decided to do this live broadcast today because I'm getting a lot of comments about the date. I'm not going to do a full Bible study on it because I'm away from my desk with my Bible and everything on it. So really what I want to do is just simply tell you that it's confusing with the dates. The best thing I can do is say, go with whatever day it is and then keep looking, because we have 3 dates to look at. Let me stay in. I got to get in the shade where I can see my image. Okay. We have the original calendar that God set up. It's a lunar calendar. It's based on the cycles of the moon. You start your new month on the new moon. And that's supposed to be for all the moons. It's not an exact calendar, so they do an adjustment, but we'll get into that later. We have the Gregorian calendar that we are on. It's a solar calendar. The Jewish calendar is a lunar calendar. So we have 365 days. They have 360. Now, bring into the mix man. The Jews that set up all the things when the temple was destroyed and they set up the oral calendar to move forward, the oral law to move forward in the new calendar, they put the priests in charge. The priests were to be the temple, essentially. Each one would have their own control. And they moved things around. The people that helped set this oral calendar up were Jews that were part of the original, not all of them, but part of the original group that crucified Jesus. They hated him with a passion. Hate that is full of Satan and not full of God, but they were the religious leaders that were involved. So they changed the calendar a little bit. They changed it to suit themselves. We just celebrated Feast of Trumpets was there, so we celebrated that, but we also celebrated Rosh Hashanah, the head of the year. The 7th month, the head of the year? Really? Arrogant priests who didn't care about God, who decided they were going to change the calendar because they didn't want their New Year coming up at the same time we're celebrating Jesus. I'm going to have to try to watch these. Good morning. I can barely see on my screen. I've dropped this phone so many times. I finally dropped it one last time, and now I can see the screen, but it's barely readable. They're giving away free phones at T-Mobile, so I'm going to have to get one. But I'll do my best. I can't really see well right now. I can see I'm in the middle of the screen. That's about as good as I can do. And I need to give you a picture of my view. That's where I'm at. I'm up at the visitor center. We sit back down. Okay, so they changed it. And then they started changing individual dates to fit their preference. You know, they don't want to have a Shabbat, they don't want to have a holy day interfere with anything else with their festivals and things like that. So they move things around. On top of all that, the calendar gets adjusted, it gets out of sync just like ours does. And we have a leap year. Well, they have a leap month. Well, when you start things off wrong and you keep going forward based on Sabbaths, it gets you out of sync, and they won't change it because they don't want to deal with Jesus. They're going to have to. He's going to come up to them and just like Paul or like Saul, and they're not going to budge. They're arrogant. But the calendar is off. Because if they think coming up after that, we'll get month, and we still got others will be tabernacles, This whole month is basically a high watch because we don't know. And again, there's nothing in the Bible that says when this is going to happen. The rapture is not defined. Oh, all the talk about, Jesus coming back, that's well defined. We know pretty much when he's coming back based on the end of everything. But we don't have anything covering this. Why would Jesus be talking to Jews about a Gentile event? This is a Christian event, not a Jewish event. Now, you can have Jewish Christians in this group that's raptured, but it is not a Jewish event. Now, like I said, it's tied to the Revelation 12 sign. It's tied to what Satan is going to do. All right, I got to take a look, see if I can. I can't really see what you're saying. I know you're talking about. Well, the Jews are commemorating their day, not Christ. So the Jews are commemorating their day of atonement, the day that the high priest would go into the temple and into the Holy of Holies and sprinkle the blood on the mercy seat. That's what they're celebrating. But they don't have that. So they're running without a plan. Anyhow, Satan is going to control the time, just like when God gave. He's going to pick the time to start everything. There's two things going on. What Satan's, and you've also got Mystery Babylon. It's a devil, if you will, man's wish to do things his way. Satan's putting up with it for a little while because they're kind of going in the same direction he wants to go, setting up for the Antichrist. But eventually, the Antichrist will get tired of it and kill this harlot, the Mystery Babylon. But we're not there, and we won't see that because we'll be out of here. So our rapture is going to happen here pretty soon so that we can get this stuff going. What you need to worry about more than anything right now is that you're as close to God as you can possibly be, because things are going to start turning. They're about ready to take our U.S. dollar down, and with it, many countries. That will give them control. So stay as close to Jesus as you can. Be very repentant. I was talking about that over the last 10 days. The Jews would be repentant during that time. It would be nice if the whole world was. We know what's coming. God told us. And then after he told us, he said, don't be afraid. That's the key. Don't be afraid. But don't go doing your own thing. Stay with Jesus. Listen to what he's telling you. As a Christian, we hear him. He tells us what to do. We can't claim we don't know. If we're not listening, that's our problem. If we can't hear him because we're too busy doing our own thing, again, that's our problem. Take the time and check in with them throughout the day to make sure that you haven't gotten the wrong message and gotten off track. He's right there. Now, we're not going to hear a burning bush. They don't talk like that anymore. God doesn't talk with the burning bush except for back then. And we don't know exactly how that worked. So in any case, I just wanted to get this out there. Don't be tied to dates. Dates don't matter. All that matters is our relationship with God. When we get together with him, we will get all this explained. But right now, man has messed things up. Both through the harlot, the church, and their rituals, their dates. Okay, that's all I wanted to say. Don't be focused on dates. I gotta see how turn this off when I can't see.